Welcome to our journey through history as we explore the fascinating story of the Babylonian Empire and its connections to the Anunnaki, a group of powerful deities in ancient Mesopotamian mythology. The Babylonian Empire was one of the greatest civilizations of the ancient world, known for its monumental architecture, scientific achievements, and influential legal code. But before we delve into the incredible accomplishments of this empire, let's start by exploring the Anunnaki's role in shaping the religious and cultural landscape of ancient Mesopotamia. Hello and welcome to Life's Biggest Questions. Now that's been said, let's continue. The Anunnaki were a group of gods and goddesses worshipped by the various cultures of ancient Mesopotamia, including the Sumerians, Akkadians, and Babylonians. As a descendant of the Akkadians, the Babylonians inherited many aspects of their predecessors' religious beliefs, including the veneration of the Anunnaki. These deities played a significant role in the lives of the Babylonians, who believed that the gods controlled the forces of nature and the fate of humanity. The Anunnaki were invoked in prayers, rituals, and religious texts, and their stories were passed down through generations in the form of myths and legends. And now, with the foundation of the Anunnaki's influence in mind, let's explore the rise, achievements, and eventual fall of the Babylonian Empire. The rise of the Babylonian Empire can be traced back to the early 2nd millennium BCE, during a time of great political upheaval in Mesopotamia. The region was divided into several city-states, each ruled by its own king, and conflicts between these city-states were common. It was in this turbulent environment that the Babylonian Empire began to take shape. The city of Babylon itself was founded around 1894 BCE by the Amorite king Sumu-Abum. However, it was under the rule of Hammurabi, reigned 1792 to 1750 BCE, the sixth king of the first Babylonian dynasty, that the empire truly began to emerge as a major power in the region. Hammurabi was an ambitious ruler who sought to expand his kingdom's influence and territory. Through a combination of diplomatic alliances, strategic marriages, and military conquests, he managed to bring the majority of Mesopotamia under Babylonian control. One of Hammurabi's most notable military achievements was the conquest of the rival city-state of Larsa, which gave him control over the economically important trade routes along the Euphrates River. He also conquered other neighboring city-states such as Eshnunna, Mari, and Elam, further expanding his empire's reach. During his reign, Hammurabi not only focused on military expansion, but also on the internal development and administration of his kingdom. He implemented a series of reforms aimed at improving the lives of his subjects, such as the construction of irrigation canals to enhance agricultural production and the establishment of a centralized bureaucracy to govern the empire more efficiently. Hammurabi is perhaps best known for his legal code, the Code of Hammurabi, which was a comprehensive set of laws covering various aspects of daily life, such as trade, property rights, and family law. This code, inscribed on a stone stele, is considered one of the earliest and most complete legal codes in human history, and provides a valuable insight into the society, values, and governance of the Babylonian Empire. After Hammurabi's death, his successors continued to expand and consolidate the empire's power, even as it faced various challenges from both internal and external forces. Over the centuries, the Babylonian Empire would experience periods of decline and resurgence, marked by the rise and fall of different dynasties and rulers. The Babylonian Empire, which thrived during the 2nd and 1st millennia BCE, left a significant legacy through its numerous achievements. These accomplishments spanned various fields, including architecture, science, mathematics, literature, and law. Here are some of the most notable Babylonian achievements. Architecture. Babylon was known for its grandiose architecture, including the city walls, the Ishtar Gate, the Etemenanki, a massive ziggurat temple, and the fabled Hanging Gardens of Babylon. The Hanging Gardens, considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, were a series of terraces filled with exotic plants and trees, supported by complex irrigation systems. Babylonian astronomers made substantial advancements in the field of astronomy. They meticulously observed and documented celestial phenomena, leading to the development of the first known system for predicting the future positions of planets. The Babylonians also created the lunar calendar, which divided the year into 12 months based on the cycles of the moon. Mathematics. The Babylonians pioneered the base 60 numeral system, which is still used today in our measurements of time, minutes and seconds, and angles, degrees, minutes and seconds. This advanced mathematical system allowed the Babylonians to perform complex calculations required for engineering projects, solve various practical problems, and even calculate the square root and cube root of numbers. The Babylonians used the cuneiform script, a system of writing that used wedge-shaped marks made on clay tablets. They made significant contributions to literature, producing works such as the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the world's oldest known works of literature. Babylonian scribes also created extensive libraries, which housed vast collections of religious, historical, and scientific texts. The Code of Hammurabi. Under the rule of King Hammurabi, the Babylonians established one of the earliest known legal codes. The Code of Hammurabi, inscribed on a large stone stele, covered a wide range of civil and criminal matters. It provided a detailed account of the social structure, values, and legal rights of the people living in the Babylonian Empire. Medicine. Babylonian physicians were skilled in diagnosing and treating various ailments. They used a combination of empirical observations, medical texts, and incantations to treat their patients. While their understanding of the human body was limited by today's standards, the Babylonians made significant contributions to the development of medical knowledge. The Babylonian Empire was a center of trade and commerce in the ancient world, benefiting from its strategic location along the Euphrates River. Babylonian merchants traded with other civilizations in the region, exchanging goods such as textiles, grains, metals, and spices. These achievements showcase the ingenuity and creativity of the Babylonian people, who left a lasting impact on the fields of science, art, and culture. The legacy of the Babylonian Empire continues to influence our modern world, as we build upon the foundations laid by this ancient civilization. The decline and fall of the Babylonian Empire were a result of a combination of internal and external factors that weakened the empire over time, ultimately leading to its collapse. After the death of Nebuchadnezzar II in 562 BCE, the Babylonian Empire experienced a period of political instability marked by a series of weak and ineffective rulers. This instability weakened the empire's ability to govern its vast territories effectively and left it vulnerable to external threats. Economic decline. The Babylonian Empire's economy relied heavily on agriculture and trade. However, as the empire expanded, it faced challenges in maintaining its vast irrigation systems, leading to decreased agricultural productivity. Additionally, competition from other regional powers disrupted trade routes, further weakening the economy. The expansion of the Babylonian Empire brought with it the incorporation of diverse ethnic groups and cultures. As the empire declined, tensions between these groups began to rise, leading to social unrest and weakening the unity of the empire. Rise of the Persians. The rise of the Persian Empire under Cyrus the Great presented a significant external threat to the Babylonian Empire. The Persians were a powerful and ambitious force, and they began to expand their territories at the expense of the Babylonians. Fall of Babylon to the Persians. In 539 BCE, the Persian army led by Cyrus the Great marched on the city of Babylon. The Babylonians, weakened by internal strife and economic decline, were unable to mount a strong defense against the invading forces. The Persian army entered the city without much resistance, marking the end of the Babylonian Empire. After the conquest, Cyrus the Great incorporated the Babylonian territories into his expanding Persian Empire and treated the conquered people with relative tolerance and respect. Hellenistic period. The conquest of the Persian Empire by Alexander the Great in 331 BCE marked the beginning of the Hellenistic period in Mesopotamia. The region was subsequently absorbed into the Seleucid Empire, one of the successor states of Alexander's empire, which led to the gradual decline of Babylonian culture and influence. The rise of the Parthian and Sassanid empires further diminished the remnants of Babylonian culture in the region. These empires, which controlled Mesopotamia at different points in time, introduced new cultural, religious, and political influences that would come to dominate the region, leading to the eventual disappearance of the distinct Babylonian identity. The decline and fall of the Babylonian Empire were due to a combination of internal factors, such as political instability, economic decline, and social unrest, as well as external pressures, such as the rise of powerful neighboring empires. The fall of Babylon to the Persians marked the end of the Babylonian Empire, and subsequent conquests and cultural shifts in the region led to the gradual disappearance of Babylonian culture and influence. The Babylonians, like other Mesopotamian civilizations such as the Sumerians and Akkadians, believed in a variety of gods that included the Anunnaki. The lasting legacy of the Anunnaki and the Babylonian Empire can be seen in several aspects: mythology and religion. The Anunnaki played a central role in Mesopotamian religious beliefs, shaping the spiritual lives of the Babylonians and influencing their worldview. Many of the gods in the Babylonian pantheon, such as Marduk, Enlil, and Ea, were associated with the Anunnaki. These gods were believed to have immense power over the natural world, and their influence can still be seen in the religious and mythological texts that have survived to this day. Creation of mankind. According to ancient Mesopotamian mythology, the Anunnaki created human beings to serve as their laborers. The creation of humanity by the gods is a common theme in many ancient cultures, and the Anunnaki's role in this process has left a lasting impression on the cultural memory of the region. The mythology and religious beliefs of the Babylonian Empire, including the stories of the Anunnaki, influenced later civilizations in the region, such as the Assyrians, and even spread to other parts of the ancient world. For example, some of the stories from Mesopotamian mythology, such as the Epic of Gilgamesh, have parallels in the Bible and other ancient texts. Art and architecture. The Anunnaki were often depicted in Babylonian art, including statues, reliefs, and frescoes. These artistic representations of the gods reflect the importance of the Anunnaki in Babylonian society and provide a glimpse into the religious beliefs and practices of the time. The Anunnaki have captured the imagination of modern researchers and writers, leading to various interpretations and theories about their role in human history. Some suggest that the Anunnaki were actually extraterrestrial beings who visited Earth in ancient times, while others see them as symbolic representations of natural forces or aspects of human consciousness. These modern theories, while speculative, demonstrate the enduring fascination with the Anunnaki and their potential influence on human civilization. The legacy of the Anunnaki and the Babylonian Empire can be seen in various aspects of culture, religion, art, and even modern theories about the origins of humanity. As a central element of Mesopotamian mythology, the Anunnaki continue to capture the imagination of scholars and enthusiasts alike, demonstrating the impact of ancient Babylonian beliefs and achievements on our understanding of human history. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of the Babylonian Empire and its connection to the Anunnaki. We hope you enjoyed this exploration of one of the ancient world's most fascinating civilizations. In the ancient lands of Mesopotamia, the Assyrians emerged as a powerful and highly advanced civilization, forging an empire that would leave a lasting impact on the history of the region. Their prowess in warfare, innovative architectural feats, and intricate artistic expressions were just a few of the hallmarks of this Iron Age society. Intriguingly, the Assyrians shared a deep connection with the Anunnaki, a group of deities revered throughout ancient Mesopotamian cultures. This divine relationship not only shaped their religious beliefs and practices, but also influenced their political structure, art, and literature, leaving a fascinating and complex legacy for future generations to uncover. Hello and welcome to Life's Biggest Questions. Let's continue this journey, shall we? The Assyrian Empire had its roots in the city-state of Ashur, located on the banks of the Tigris River in modern-day northern Iraq. The city was named after the chief deity of the Assyrian pantheon, Ashur, who was believed to grant the Assyrian kings their divine mandate to rule. By the late 3rd millennium BCE, Ashur had grown into a significant trading hub, benefiting from its strategic location along the Tigris River and its role in the lucrative trade network that connected Mesopotamia with Anatolia and the Mediterranean world. During the 2nd millennium BCE, Ashur and its surrounding region came under the control of various Mesopotamian powers, such as the 3rd dynasty of Ur and the Old Babylonian Empire. However, by the 14th century BCE, the Assyrians had managed to reassert their independence and expand their influence under the rule of King Ashur-uballit. Thus, Ashur-uballit first is credited with founding the Middle Assyrian Empire, and embarking on an aggressive campaign of conquest, which saw the annexation of neighboring territories and the establishment of a pattern of military expansion that would define the Assyrian Empire for centuries to come. The Assyrian Empire continued to grow and consolidate its power under a series of strong and ambitious rulers, including Adad-nirari I, Tukulti-Ninurta I, and Tiglath-Pileser I. These kings implemented administrative reforms to centralize power and enhance their control over the expanding empire. They also invested heavily in infrastructure projects such as irrigation systems and road networks, which facilitated the movement of goods and people and enabled the efficient administration of the empire's vast territories. The zenith of Assyrian power came during the Neo-Assyrian period, which began in the late 10th century BCE with the reign of Adad-nirari II. This period saw a rapid expansion of the empire under rulers like Ashur-nasir-pal II, Shalmaneser III, Tiglath-Pileser III, Sargon II, Sennacherib, Esarhaddon, and Ashurbanipal. At its peak, the Assyrian Empire stretched from the Persian Gulf in the east to the Mediterranean Sea in the west, and from the borders of modern-day Iran in the north to Egypt in the south. Throughout their history, the Assyrians maintained an aggressive policy of expansion and conquest, often employing brutal tactics to subdue their enemies and maintain control over their vast territories. This policy allowed them to amass significant wealth and resources, which in turn fueled their continued growth and dominance in the ancient Near East. The Assyrian military was a key factor in the empire's rise to prominence and the backbone of its success. Its strength lay in its discipline, organization, advanced weaponry, and innovative strategies. The following elements contributed to the Assyrians' fearsome reputation on the battlefield. The Assyrians were among the first to use iron extensively in their weapons, giving them a significant advantage over their enemies. Iron was stronger and more durable than bronze, allowing the Assyrians to produce superior swords, spears, and arrowheads. This technological edge enabled them to overcome adversaries who were still reliant on bronze weaponry. The Assyrian army was highly organized, with a clear chain of command and specialized units, including infantry, cavalry, archers, and charioteers. This organization allowed for efficient communication and coordination on the battlefield, ensuring that the Assyrians could effectively execute complex tactics and maneuvers. The Assyrians were masters of siege warfare, employing innovative techniques and technologies to breach fortified cities. They utilized siege towers, battering rams, and sappers to undermine city walls. The Assyrians also employed psychological warfare, such as displaying the severed heads of captured enemy leaders to demoralize their opponents and hasten their surrender. Unlike many of their contemporaries, the Assyrians maintained a large professional standing army that was always ready for battle. This enabled them to respond rapidly to threats and to project their power across the vast expanse of their empire. The Assyrian military made extensive use of cavalry and chariots, which allowed them to exploit the mobility and speed of these units to their advantage on the battlefield. Assyrian cavalry and charioteers were renowned for their skill and ferocity, striking fear into the hearts of their enemies. The Assyrians developed efficient logistical systems to keep their armies supplied on campaign. They built roads and bridges to facilitate the movement of troops and supplies, and they established supply depots and granaries in strategic locations to ensure that their forces were always well provisioned. Assyrian soldiers were rigorously trained from a young age, instilling in them a strong sense of discipline and loyalty to the empire. This training, combined with their advanced weaponry and tactics, made the Assyrian army a formidable force on the battlefield. The Assyrian military was not only the foundation of the empire's success, but also an instrument of terror, used to suppress revolts and intimidate potential adversaries. The Assyrians' military prowess and innovations played a critical role in their rise to power and their ability to maintain control over their vast territories. The Assyrian Empire, once a dominant power in the ancient Near East, eventually succumbed to a combination of internal and external factors that led to its decline and fall. The following factors contributed to the disintegration of this once mighty empire: overextension and revolts. As the Assyrian Empire expanded, it became increasingly difficult to maintain control over its vast territories. Rebellions and uprisings were common, particularly in the more distant provinces. The Assyrians relied heavily on their fearsome military to suppress these revolts. But this strategy stretched their resources thin and left the empire vulnerable to external threats. The cost of maintaining a large standing army, as well as the construction of grand palaces, temples, and other monumental structures, placed a significant financial burden on the empire. This burden was further exacerbated by the need to fund expensive military campaigns to suppress revolts and defend the empire's borders. This financial strain weakened the Assyrian economy and made it more susceptible to external shocks, internal strife and political instability. Succession disputes and infighting among the Assyrian elite led to periods of political instability and weakened the central authority of the empire. This instability made it more difficult for the Assyrians to respond effectively to external threats and to maintain control over their territories. Environmental factors. Some scholars argue that environmental factors, such as droughts and famines, contributed to the decline of the Assyrian Empire. These natural disasters would have strained the empire's already weakened economy and disrupted its agricultural base, further exacerbating the challenges faced by the Assyrians. The Assyrian Empire faced increasing pressure from external powers, such as the Medes, Babylonians, and Scythians. As the Assyrians struggled to maintain control over their territories and suppress internal revolts, these external powers sensed an opportunity to challenge Assyrian dominance. In 612 BCE, the Babylonians and Medes formed a coalition and laid siege to the Assyrian capital of Nineveh, ultimately capturing the city and dealing a devastating blow to the Assyrian Empire. The final collapse. After the fall of Nineveh, the Assyrians attempted to regroup and establish a new capital at Haran. However, the empire was too weakened to withstand the continued onslaught from its enemies. In 609 BCE, the Babylonians and Medes captured Haran, marking the end of the Assyrian Empire as a political and military power. The decline and fall of the Assyrian Empire were the result of a complex interplay of internal and external factors. The empire's overextension, economic strain, political instability, and environmental challenges weakened its foundations, while the rise of powerful external adversaries ultimately led to its collapse. The fall of the Assyrian Empire marked the end of an era and paved the way for the rise of new powers in the ancient Near East, such as the Babylonians and the Persians. The Anunnaki, a group of deities in ancient Mesopotamian religions, played a significant role in shaping the beliefs and culture of the Assyrians, who were one of the dominant civilizations of the ancient Near East. The connection between the Assyrians and the Anunnaki can be seen in various aspects of their society, including their religion, art, and literature. The Assyrian religion, like that of other Mesopotamian cultures, was deeply influenced by the worship of the Anunnaki. These gods and goddesses were believed to have created humanity and were responsible for the natural world, as well as for human society and its institutions. Key Anunnaki deities such as Enlil, Ea, and Anu were central to the Assyrians, and their worship was an essential part of religious life. Assyrian kings claimed to rule by the divine mandate of the Anunnaki, who were believed to have appointed them as their earthly representatives. This divine connection was used to legitimize the rule of the Assyrian kings and to justify their military conquests. Assyrian kings were often depicted in art and literature as receiving the blessing or guidance of the Anunnaki, further reinforcing the idea that their rule was divinely ordained. The influence of the Anunnaki can be seen in the art and iconography of the Assyrian Empire. Depictions of Anunnaki deities are found on Assyrian palace reliefs, sculptures, and other artifacts, often alongside images of the Assyrian king. The winged disc, a symbol associated with the sun god Shamash, another member of the Anunnaki, was a common motif in Assyrian art and was often used as a symbol of divine protection and authority. The Anunnaki featured prominently in Assyrian literature and mythology, which was heavily influenced by earlier Sumerian and Akkadian sources. Stories of the Anunnaki, such as the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian creation myth, and the Epic of Gilgamesh, were known and revered by the Assyrians, who often incorporated these tales into their own literary works and inscriptions. As we delve into the intriguing world of the Assyrians, we find a civilization marked by exceptional achievements and indelible ties to the ancient Anunnaki deities. Their divine mandate provided a foundation for the Assyrian Empire's rise to prominence, fueling their military conquests and shaping their cultural expressions. Yet despite their numerous accomplishments, the Assyrians ultimately succumbed to a combination of internal and external pressures that led to their empire's decline and fall. I hope you enjoyed our video today. Stay tuned for more exciting developments, and let us know future suggestions in the comments down below.